Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level, unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you're a cross watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or a coaching session with me is in the description box below. And I will be going over some information about an upcoming workshop at the end of this video, so stick around if you are interested in that. All right, let's jump on in here, Sagittarius. As always, we're going to start with overall energy through oracle cards, and then we will dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. So let's see here, Sagittarius, what we have for your side of this connection toward the person you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. No? Okay. Did it feel intentional? Fate, right out of the gate. Rhymed. And synchronicity. Interesting. Okay. So you were definitely led to this connection for a reason. You and this person absolutely met for a reason. And I feel like you know that because then, yeah, you have divine timing with detachment here. I feel like you know that. I feel like you felt that when you met this person. I feel like there is a connection that kind of goes below the surface, and you definitely feel that there is, maybe even something spiritual about it, or something that is very different about your connection to this person. This person's energy toward you. Divine timing again. You know what else? But I also am kind of getting divine protection. There's connection. I feel like this person recognizes the depth of this connection as well. And then know your worth with interference. Okay. I feel like this person definitely, like I said, recognizes the depth of this as well. And I think that there are kind of mutual feelings here for sure. But then they have this interference card. So something I feel like is interfering with them showing up in this in the way that you deserve, or ultimately like allowing this to fully develop. I feel like this person, oddly enough, really does struggle with their self-worth and their ability to give and receive love in a healthy way. Maybe they've never really experienced that. So this is something that's very different for them. And I think that that maybe brings up some things for them as well. Let's look at the truth of this between Sagittarius and the person they are dealing with. So, solitude. See, that's the thing that I felt. That's why I was a little bit like, what's going on? Because I do feel like there's separation here. Detachment with grief and sadness. I feel like there is separation here, or like, I don't know, distance emotionally, maybe physically, because I kind of felt that with this. Like that, like you were over here, they were over here or something. there's this like separation or this distance. And maybe that's what you're really struggling with, is like, you know that you and this person met for a reason, and there's a lot of frustration around this connection not coming together in the way that you desire. And then know your worth again with literally separation. So yeah. Because this detachment, like I'm literally getting detachment is key, which is, funny, because I've actually never, I don't know if I've ever really viewed this card this way, because it is literally a key. So it's like the key is detachment. But key to what? I don't know. I feel like we've got a lot to break down, because it's definitely like this spiritual connection that you have with this person. Like you're maybe connected to their higher self. So in a sense, it's like you understand them, or like, but then there's like this disconnect between their higher self and the person that they do show up as. And that, I feel like, is why this connection is in separation. So, it's kind of giving twin flame vibes for sure. But for those of you who are familiar with my channel, you know that I don't like using that term. I use it very lightly. But let's dive into this. Overall theme of this for Sagittarius. I don't use it lightly, is what I meant. I use it rarely. Overall theme. Triggers. Like I said, it's definitely giving this twin flame energy. Options are kept open. I feel like there's something else here. I feel like you definitely you trigger each other's woundings for sure. Meaning that it's almost like mirrors of what triggers the other person's shadow the most. Which means that there's a whole nother layer of complication in this connection that you don't see in kind of, normal connections. Everybody is a mirror for us. Okay, there must not be another one. Oh, okay, trust the universe, yeah. Everybody is a mirror of us, for sure. Every relationship is presenting an opportunity for us to, see something about ourselves, to heal, learn, grow, evolve, love ourselves deeper. But some people mirror us just a little bit more than others. And I feel like this is one of those connections where there definitely is a lot of mirroring here. And I can tell right out of the gate, because the energies feel like very similar. Not that you are similar people, or that you carry, or that you do the same things or anything like that. But I feel like, the mirroring is very strong, and I can tell. The options are kept open is interesting, because I feel like to you, or kind of what I'm gathering from this energy, it's like this person really does feel like your only option, because of how strong this connection really does feel, and the purpose that you see in it. But I don't know. And then, you have trust the universe, like trust that however things unfold are going to be for your highest good and ultimately lead you to the love that you deserve. So with that, let's jump in and see what we've got here, Sagittarius. Your side of this toward the person you are dealing with, are needing to learn the most from right now. Sagittarius' side of this connection. The Nine of Swords. There's a lot of anxiety surrounding this connection and surrounding your connection to this person. There's the High Priestess, which I kind of gathered. It's like you're very connected to them intuitively. So I feel like you're, able to kind of understand how they feel on a deeper level, almost like even if they aren't able to understand it as much. Empress in reverse, though. Page of Swords, Eight of Cups in reverse. Okay. Yeah, this is complicated because it's definitely one of those, there's a Three of Swords then. It's one of those relationships, those connections where, you know, there is such a strong pull that you have toward this person's like potential. You know, if they were to show up as their higher self, as the version of them that you know that they can be, or almost like that you are connected to intuitively, I feel like you feel as if there is, the potential for you to have everything you've ever really wanted in love. And when it comes to this connection, I feel, especially with the Page of Swords, it's like there's, this excitement that surrounds what this could be. But as excited as you are about the potential, you are equally as anxious about it, because there's also, and it kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning, where it's kind of this energy of like, if it's not them, I might never be as happy or never be as loved or never experience anything as good. But you're sitting in this energy of the Three of Swords. So you're sitting in this energy of heartbreak. You're sitting in this energy of not having what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you need. But you're really connected to and holding on to that potential. This Empress in reverse, I feel like you've given a lot to this person in this connection in a lot of different ways. And I think that you are somebody who is, Sagittarius, a little bit like too loyal, like loyal to a fault. And it doesn't mean that, I'm not saying loyalty is a bad thing, but sometimes we become so loyal to others that we're not as loyal to ourselves and to our own, needs, desires, and feelings. And I feel like there's, some sort of kind of bigger cycle that Spirit is asking you to take a look at. One of the reasons that I have a bone to pick with the twin flame concept is it's this idea that there is another person that holds the key to our happiness, and that we can only experience all of the things we want to experience in this life if they do certain things, right? If they heal, if they grow, if they evolve, if they choose the path of healing, if they choose the journey. And the reason that I don't like that, and the reason that I feel like this is a very unhealthy take on any kind of relationship, is because it gives all of our power away. And I've been in a twin flame connection. I've had that experience, and I know what it's like to be so incredibly drawn to another person. And I know the heartbreak that comes whenever things don't unfold or happen the way that you want. And I'm married now, not to that person, but to somebody very different. And I've learned a lot on this journey about, because I have a love beyond my wildest dreams with my husband, and I wouldn't have this connection if I didn't go through that connection that I had with the person who I believed was my twin flame. And one of the biggest things that I've learned is that the purpose of those connections are not about the union of the connection itself, but the union of the individual, meaning, the reason that twin flame connections are so powerful is because of that mirroring, and they mirror back our wounds and our traumas and our triggers and insecurities and beliefs that we have about being unlovable and being not good enough. And we crave the love in them so deeply that we are actually needing to find within ourselves. And so these types of connections are really pushing us to love ourselves on a level that we never really have before, and not where it's like, oh, I love myself and I have all of these feelings toward myself, but where we show up for ourselves, when we set the boundaries, when we communicate clearly, and when we stop letting people, essentially not choose us or be what it is that we deserve. And I think that there is, you and this person were definitely guided to each other for a reason, and I think that that reason will continue to be clear as you walk this journey. But I do think that there is a little bit of divine protection when it comes to why things are not working out or unfolding in the way that you would hope right now. And I feel like that's why you have trust in the universe, is trusting that how things are unfolding, they are unfolding in a way that is best for you. But one of the things that I feel like is really important here is to look at this from a different perspective, because the perspective that you have right now is keeping you very trapped. There's this perspective of, again, if it's not them, then it's nobody. Then I can't be happy, I can't be loved, I can't have what I want. And I remember thinking that way. I remember thinking, if it's not this person, then I'm going to be settling. And if that person ever came back, then I was going to leave, whoever I was with for them. And that couldn't be further from the truth because of the kind of love I get to experience now. But, you know, I remember what it was like to feel that way. And I learned a lot of the psychology of what is really happening below the surface and how we are being pushed to heal in those dynamics. So I feel like Spirit's trying to bring forth a different perspective for you around this connection and why things are unfolding the way that they are. But let's dive into this person's energy towards you, connection with divine timing. Couldn't get into a flow here. Ten of Cups. Three of Wands in reverse. That right there tells a whole story. Six of Pentacles in reverse. The Tower. You could be dealing with an air sign. I saw the Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but you don't have to be. Seven of Cups. I mean, yeah, the mirroring is very heavily there. It's coming out, yeah, because there's the Moon. Okay. Right out of the gate, you have this Ten of Cups, and I think that this is what you intuitively feel. Like, this person does see this connection in the same light that you do. I feel like they see all that this can be and all that the potential, all the potential that it does hold. And I feel like, you know, deep down, they really do desire this. Now, the Three of Wands in reverse, and why I said seeing those cards back to back tells a whole story, is the Three of Wands in reverse is all about playing it safe. It's about choosing the path that allows you for the most control and the most, like, essentially predictability and security, which typically kind of aligns with the path of the ego, right? Our ego's primary goal is survival, and it will always make decisions to put us in spaces and in relationships that align with the love that we're used to instead of the love that we actually deeply desire. So before we have an awareness of the way that our ego makes decisions, that the ego very much drives our decisions, and we just allow it to happen. And so this happens a lot whenever you're kind of dealing with runners, is runners push away love that is real and genuine and deep, not because they don't desire it, but because they feel very unsafe in it. And because that kind of love requires you to look within yourself at the ways that you've been taught that you are unlovable and not good enough, and it requires you to feel things you don't want to feel. It requires you to heal. It requires you to do the work. And whenever somebody is in a place where they are, call it unconscious, or in like a place of a lacking awareness, they are going to make the decision that pushes away that kind of love and chooses a kind of love that is very surface level, a love that doesn't challenge them, a love that they don't really have to try that hard for. And I feel in this connection, because there is such a deep connection here with so much potential, it's something that essentially they don't really know how to handle, right? It's the classic runner energy. There's fear here, pushing away out of fear, running from themselves, all of that, right? And with the Seven of Cups, I feel like there's so much in this person's energy and so much overwhelm of emotion that they've kind of shut down altogether. So I think that for you, it's really hard because you're trying to understand like how they feel or why they're doing certain things or why they're not choosing you or whatever the case is. And to be quite honest with you, they don't even freaking know how they feel, right? People who aren't in a place where they're honoring and exploring their own emotional experience certainly aren't going to take your emotions into account. And we have to understand that that lack of awareness and that lack of healing is going to give them a certain limit when it comes to the connection. And I do think that this is one step that most people make when they're on kind of the twin flame journey or these relationship journeys with mirrored connections, is they're able to say, okay, based on where this person is at, they are not capable of being the kind of love that I deserve and desire. And when we are very mirrored to them, typically we usually understand why. We're like, okay, they've had abandonment experience or, betrayal experience. So they don't want to open up and they want to choose something that's safe. Like, we understand that, right? And I think that getting to the understanding of why somebody isn't capable of being what you deserve is, yes, it's step one. Step two is to stop waiting for them to change. And I think that this is the step that most people get very lost on this journey in. And there are a lot of readers out there that play into this, kind of addiction to wanting to hear somebody loves them and somebody values them and they're changing and they have regrets and all of these things, because it keeps us stuck and attached to the hope that somebody is finally going to be what we desire. And we stay there, right? We stay in this cycle. We watch tarot readings. We do readings on our own. We intuitively channel all of these messages of, oh, this is how this person really feels, and this is where they're really at. And you're probably right. All of those things are probably right. This person sees you as the 10 of Cups. They see the potential. But where they're at in their journey, it doesn't matter how they feel, because their actions are going to be based on the level of healing that they have done. And a lot of people in this world, majority of people don't heal or grow. They just get older. They just let time pass. And they can continue to make the same mistakes in love and in relationships and in their life. And, we cannot hold on to the idea of who we want somebody or need somebody to be so that we can be happy. Because when we do that, we give all of our power away. And we say, my happiness is 100% dependent on you, on your healing, on you becoming what I need you to be so that I can have the love that I desire, the life that I desire, whatever the case is. And that actually isn't the purpose of the twin flame connection at all. It's a stage and it's a phase, but the goal of these types of connections, call them twin flame, call them mirrored, call them whatever you want. The label doesn't matter. The dynamic is the same. Chasing love and people who run from it is, yes, an indication that there's a reason that the runner is running, right, which we tend to hyperfixate on, but there is just as much of a reason as to why we chase it. And until we start to flip the script and we stop asking, why are they running and what do they think about me? And we start asking, why am I chasing? And why do I care so much about what this person thinks and what they feel and why they're not choosing me? Then we don't heal and we stay stuck in that waiting phase. And we wait and we wait and we wait. Maybe sometimes they come back, but then the cycle repeats. And then we wait and then we wait and we wait and they give us a little bit of hope and then the cycle repeats. And we wait and we wait and we wait. And it can be lifelong if we let it. So Spirit's asking you to look at this connection not from the perspective of how does this person need to heal, how do they need to grow, how do they need to evolve, but from the perspective of how is the mirror in this keeping you stuck in looking for love in somebody who isn't choosing you? Because you deserve a love beyond your wildest dreams, right? And because you are intuitively connected to this person's higher self, you see what you feel, what that could look like if this person was in alignment with their higher self, right? But the thing is, we all have the capability of being the best version of ourselves and the capability of being the worst version of ourselves. Everybody does. And where we fall on that scale is going to depend on how much healing, growth, and active evolution we are working on, right? And nobody's ever perfect. You're going to fall, on different areas at different times. But for the most part, when you're really doing the work, you kind of gear toward being more, aligned with your higher self. When you're not doing the work, you tend to be more aligned with your shadow, not because you're a bad person, but because you're very unhealed. But when we're intuitively connected to someone, we see that higher version of them and we fall in love with that version of them. And then we say, I can only be happy if this person becomes that version of them. But what's actually happening is you are seeing the potential of how you could feel if you loved yourself in the way that you're looking for this person to. So Spirit's asking you to look at this very differently. Yes, this is a spiritual connection. Maybe they are a twin flame. Whatever, you want to label it. But the question isn't, why are they not choosing me? Why are they running from this? The question is, why am I chasing this? Why am I looking for love consistently in somebody who isn't loving me, choosing me, valuing me, and being what it is that I deserve? Because therein lies the answer to why this cycle keeps repeating. And again, I say this all from experience. I remember there were times where I was laying in bed just like hurting more than I've ever hurt in my life, cursing the universe for ever introducing me to this person, because I was like, I've never hurt like this. I've never felt this way before. I truly don't think I'm ever going to be happy if it's not with them. Like, it was one of the most painful experiences of my life. But as, I was willing to stop waiting on that person to change and start looking at how Spirit was asking me to change, me to heal and to grow and to evolve. Eventually, I did meet a love beyond my wildest dreams. And it's kind of funny because my husband is the reflection of all of the potential that I saw in that person. It's all of the things that I wanted that person to be. It's all of the ways that I had ever asked and begged my relationships in the past to be loved. And I kept looking for it in people who didn't show me that love instead of loving myself in the way that I needed so I could attract it. And that's why, I think that, I used to be a twin flame reader. Guys, they used to be all that I talked about because of how powerful those connections can be. And this person woke me up. They put me on a spiritual path. I was not a spiritual person before this. I had no idea what tarot was before this. I was a financial advisor. But this whole journey, I think, is very powerful and very important in a lot of our lives. But we get very lost on it when we start to get very obsessed with what the other person is doing, thinking, and whether or not they're healing, instead of looking at how we can heal, evolve, and choose ourselves so that we can have the love that we deserve and desire. And I know not a lot of people want to hear that, and I'm okay with that. I'm not one to tell people what they want to hear just for views and likes. That will never be me as a reader. I know what I have learned on my journey to lead me to the love and the life that I desire, and I'm going to do the best that I can to share that with every single person that comes across my channel, because all I want for every single one of you is for you to have the love that you truly desire and to know that it does exist, even if it doesn't exist in the person that you think you want it to right now. But I'm going to hop on over to the extended because I feel like we got a lot more to dive into. We're going to look at separation with detachment, the deeper purpose of this, and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Really quick, though, I want to talk about my upcoming workshop on September 19th. So it's a month from around the time when this reading will be released. And it's the title of the workshop is Manifesting Financial Freedom, and the subtitle is wow, oh my goodness. The subtitle is about adjusting your relationship with money. So the whole thing is basically about diving into your limiting beliefs around money, around financial freedom, around your capabilities, and your beliefs around what's possible for you, and all of these things. So that you can attract financial freedom. And like I just said, it's kind of funny that I mentioned this. I used to be a financial advisor, so I know all the practical stuff around money. But being in the role that I am now, I also know all the spiritual stuff. And I know kind of how money works and understand how to attract financial freedom and abundance into your life. And that's one of the things that has been a huge part of my journey. And now I'm really excited to share everything that I've learned with you guys. So any information for that is at the top of the description box below. If you have any questions about that, feel free to drop me a comment or shoot me an email. That information's in the description box below as well. But thank you so much, Sagittarius, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Sagittarius.